So I'm so excited to have Steve here. He's going to share his experience with shockwave therapy on his fingers. He has a lot of arthritis, and he's going to kind of share his story and share a little bit more about when he called us, kind of what was happening and what it was limiting him doing. So, Steve, let's hear it. Let's hear your story.
So when I first heard about Shockwave, I was having lots of problems with my fingers, particularly one finger that had 20 some years of working a mouse that seemed to be in not seemed it was in constant pain. And when I heard you talk about it, I thought, my God, I've got to try this because it was just getting too difficult. It got to the point where if it was 50, 55 degrees, I had to wear a glove on my hand when I was out walking the dog, um, just to keep the pain, abate the pain somewhat. And then on top of that was just trying to open jars
Hmm.
was a problem. So that's when I decided that this was something I had to try.
Yeah. Um, Besides like opening jars and walking the dogs, what are the things that were you having a difficult time doing?
Opening just about anything, turning, rotating the finger, corking, lots of terms I'm not terribly familiar with, or what to call them, but um, just everyday movement of my hands.
Hurt.
I've got right. There was constant pain on one hand, and then whenever I tried doing something with that right hand, there was pain. Whether it
Yeah.
was opening a bottle of water or using the mouse.
Yeah. So what were some of your fears if this didn't get resolved?
Um, was I going to have to call somebody to come open jars? I was out prowling all the stores, the kitchen stores and so forth, for looking for various implements that would help me open open jars.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with my left hand, much more serious problem. So I was thinking, my goodness, I'm not going to have hands that work.
Right. Which is we use our hands for everything.
Right. Right. My handwriting had gotten to the point where I was embarrassed to write, and I long since had stopped uh, using cursive, and even my print handwriting was getting to the point where even I couldn't read it.
Yeah. So you came in and did Focus Shockwave. Share us your experience with like the first one and kind of you finished all six now. So let's
Right.
start there.
So the first one was the first joint you did was the one that was creating the most discomfort, and there was a since learned there was a an analgesic effect after the first. But what was remarkable to me was, um, yes, there was an analgesic effect, but it it seemed to eliminate the pain almost altogether from the get-go. The
Yeah.
first from the first treatment. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it, we go into a lot of conversations with clients about like when we have arthritis, usually it's not like the cartilage or problems in between the joint. It's usually the structures around it that hurt because, cartilage and things don't really have a blood supply, but bone does and ligaments do and tendons do and muscles do. And so when you get arthritis, you basically have like lost a blood supply to some of those areas. And that's what this does. It just basically puts blood back into those areas to start allowing it to heal. And it takes bone edema away like that. Like that.
Right, it's crazy. And I just realized I just picked up this 30-ounce cup
Mhm.
full of ice and water, and realized, well, that too puts a strain on the joint, and that reminds me that there's an issue there.
Yep.
So
Yep. And some of it like it takes away the pain to where now you can do like we discussed like last time you came in, I was like, you just need to work on just opening jars. Like work on getting the muscles stronger now because you've had pain for so long and you haven't used your muscles to do anything because it's been hurting that there's going to be atrophy there. So
Right.
the next phase is just like practice opening things, I said, open big things, just open it and close it and open it and close it. And then small things, open it and close it. And just so you're starting to work in a functional way to get those muscles stronger, because when you can get the muscles stronger around the joints, then it protects the joints from like everything that we just did with Shockwave.
Exactly. Plus, with the continued treatments, I was am gaining more motion
Hmm.
in those joints.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, inflammation and things like that will limit the joint motion. Now, will you get it all the way back? Probably not, but we get it back to where it's functional. I mean, I used it on my knee and I don't have full range of motion, but I have way more range of motion than I did before I started it. And the pain's away to where now I can do strengthening exercises and actually get the muscles around it stronger. It's not any different than your hand, but it's exciting. It's exciting to see how this has been able to help patients that I don't know what they would do. Like, oh, I don't know what you would do with your hand.
I don't either. I was really concerned,
Yeah. I mean,
and I
like,
and
okay, injections, but that breaks down everything eventually and it doesn't work and it doesn't last. So, being on drugs, I don't know,
right.
like surgery for the hand, but I'm so it's just exciting because every body is a little like the body part itself is a little bit different with Shockwave. And we're noticing like different people affect different ways. But the hands, it's like it's instant. Knees, we get pretty good results pretty quickly. Other areas it takes a little bit longer. We get some results, but as we get to the sixth visit, then we get more results. So it's all a little bit different. It's been fun to kind of see. But with hands, I mean, oh yeah, people with thumb issues goes away like that.
Right. I can I'm surprised that I've not heard of it before, but it's it's I'm telling so many people, as you know, in our networking groups, and I can barely contain myself.
Yeah. Well,
It's
no one like the focus shockwave is fairly new. There's a lot of radial shockwave out there there's a lot of places that actually have it, but it's the focus shockwave that hits the bone. So when you have bone issues that we need to take care of or we need to go deeper, radial shockwave won't hit it. Like there's no way. Only focus shockwave will. And there's only a few units that is in DFW. There's only a few units that people have in DFW. Like I probably one of three. That's it.
really.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I've trusted you. I've not done any research.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Well, I did. I tried to send because I was like, oh my gosh, because I did a treatment on my knee because I was curious. Like, I'm gonna probably buy this at some point. It's expensive piece of equipment. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna buy it. And when I got back from a conference, I tried to get some patients to go because I knew a place that had it, and they were such a nightmare to deal with it. And they're like, "Can you please just buy one?" And so I'm like, I will. They're like, just finance it. Well, I'm going to have to finance it. But I eventually was like, okay, I'm just going to pull the plug because I have so many people that are wanting to try it and use it. And when I tried to send them to other places, it was a nightmare trying to get them in the process. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it now. So that's kind of what happened. But it's been great. Great results on so many people that I don't know, like we would have been able to affect their lives, but nothing like this.
I can see that. I
Yeah.
really could see that. I mean, if someone I didn't know had told me that they had received these kinds of results, I I would have I would have questioned it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really, I mean, it just when I stop and think of some of the testimonials I've given in networking groups, I'm thinking, I wonder what people are, how they're responding.
Yeah.
I hope the sincerity comes through because it's just remarkable.
Yeah.
So I really didn't know this was heading downhill fast,
Yeah.
and I was just what am I going to do without
You know,
without the use of my hands?
yeah.
Right.
So what would you tell someone if they're on the fence about coming in and talking to us and learning more about Shockwave and trying it?
I think that they owe it to themselves to investigate it. You make it so easy. And I mean, I didn't know about focus and the different kinds of shockwave, but that's something that they should be made aware of.
Hmm.
And I guess show testimonials like this. Give them my number. Call me. I'll tell
Don't
you
tempt
about
me.
it.
Don't tempt me. We have another person coming in with her hand. It's taken us about 3 weeks to convince her.
Well, I'll be curious to hear what she has to say.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
if
she's
I'm any
considering stem cell. And I'm like, oh my God, no, do this, please. It's just going to be cheaper to do it, to do this. And I think you're going to get better results with this, especially with the hand. But yeah, I mean, it's it's been amazing. It's been fun to help people.
right, right. I mean, how gratifying that must be for you to
Oh my
to
gosh.
bring comfort to people like
Yeah.
this. That's terrific.
Yep. Well, thank you so much. Your story is going to help so many people out there that are a little skeptical, that aren't really sure, is this really something that's going to work? Because I mean, I'd be in the same boat. And it took me a while to actually order radial shockwave. And it wasn't until talking with a lot of my PT friends that were using it. And they're like, Stephanie, you just don't even understand. And then, same kind of thing with focus. It took me 2 years to buy the focus after the radial, but I'm so glad I did, because I mean, especially the population that comes into our office, they're all aging, they're wanting to stay active, they're wanting to not have surgery. This just fits right in with all of that, and being able to help people get back to living their life without having to do all those things.
Right, right. It doesn't take long to forget that I couldn't do this 6 weeks
Yes.
ago.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Well,
thank you.
thank you too.